Chapter 1. The man who introduced himself first was named Malmont Carl, a seasoned mercenary. He looked around and asked if anyone had any clue where they were. Another in a simple tunic responded. His name was Riley, a carpenter from a town called Dola. Another stepped forward, a short, stocky man who said his name was Grisha. He too had no idea how he got there. A young woman named Jenna, who had lived deep in the forest, admitted she was just as lost. Then a quiet voice joined in. Islat Han, a humble farmer. He, like the others, remembered nothing of how he had arrived. No one could explain what had happened. Others wondered if a mage had summoned them for some dark experiment, but speculation helped little. The only thing they were sure of was that they had all come from the same land, Tanya. Before they could piece together more, the atmosphere shifted. A sudden voice cut through the silence. The master has opened a rift in space and time. Prepare for battle. A small glowing figure appeared before them. She introduced herself as Izel, a fairy and guardian of this realm. Her tone was firm and sharp. When the group demanded answers, accusing her of abducting them, Izel remained cold and indifferent. "Don't argue with me if you want to survive," she warned. Malmont stepped forward in protest, trying to intimidate her. But before anyone could react, his expression twisted in horror. His body collapsed to the ground, lifeless. Malmont Carl has returned to the embrace of the gods. His fighting spirit will be remembered for all eternity. Cause of death: overwhelmed by panic, committed suicide. Izel shrugged. She reminded them that she had warned them. That wouldn't have happened if they had simply listened. She declared it was only self-defense and warned that anyone else who raised a hand against her would meet the same fate. The group was horrified. Someone cried out in disbelief. Malmont was dead, his head severed. They demanded to know what Izel wanted from them. She answered plainly they were to fight well, win, and obey orders. "It's simple, really," she said. The master, an unseen authority, opened a spatial rift, signaling the start of their trial. Riley, Ranto, Marilyn, Kelkart, and Jexon were added to the first group. Izel directed them toward a set of ominous gates, warning that refusal would mirror Malmont's fate. Han hesitated, pointing out their lack of weapons as one-star heroes. "You're sending us to die." He protested, nodding Malmont's 2-star status and combat skills. Level 1 Novice, Strength 14, Intelligence 10, Agility 12 with basic fencing at Level 1. Izel advised the master to equip the heroes, explaining that without weapons they would start with old wooden F-rank swords. The master, with a dismissive whatever, spent 50,000 gold to provide iron swords, a weak bow, and a Morgenstern. Back among the group, someone turned to Khan and asked if he knew anything about the place. Khan replied that he hadn't been there in a long time, but he knew one thing for sure: they needed to be well prepared. He urged the others to go to the arsenal and choose a weapon. Izel barked, "Enough stalling, first 5 move." The group shuffled forward, clutching their meager weapons, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. As they approached the rift, a sense of dread settled over them. "What's beyond those gates?" Jenna whispered. Han shook his head. "An arena," he said. "We fight to survive." The portal flared. "Kelkart has fallen, his spirit will be remembered." The group gasped. "Another death so soon?" Ranto, Jexon, and Riley followed, their screams swallowed by the rift. "Group 1 is annihilated. You've lost." Izel was furious that they were useless idiots and vanished quickly. The survivors, Han, Jenna, Jill, Grisha, and Kyle, were hastily reformed into a new team. Grisha groaned, clutching his back. "My arthritis is acting up. I can't fight." Watching this, Izel was furious. "You were walking fine moments ago." "Move," muttered, "and we need to stick together to survive." But Grisha persisted. "I'm serious, my back." Izel's patience snapped. "Fight or die whining." The group stumbled into a dimly lit temple, the air heavy with menace. Ancient carvings adorned the walls, proclaiming "Main Dungeon, Floor 1." The gates groaned open, revealing a battlefield swarming with goblins. "No panic, forward," Han shouted, gripping his sword and shield. It was a battlefield. Khan explained if they don't fight, they will die. Jill, Grisha, and Kyle hesitated, their stats plummeting under a wave of fear. "My back." Grisha wailed, while Jill clutched his stomach, muttering about needing a break, but there was a wall that couldn't be opened until the task was completed. They were at a dead end. And scan the chaos. Only one girl, Jenna, joined the battle. Her past life was the life of a hunter. Khan set the tactics. "Jenna, shoot from range. I'll take the front," her hands trembling as she nocked an arrow. My father was a hunter, she said, aiming at the goblins. Han charged, his sword flashing, but the others faltered. They're useless, he muttered, dodging a goblin's strike. The goblins closed in. Han gritted his teeth as the goblins surged. Han realized this was a cursed game, ruled by luck, and their survival hinged on a fragile thread, one that could snap at any moment. He muttered to himself, I am Islat Khan, real name is Khan Sajjan, that he was not an ordinary person. Chapter 2. In a world where mobile games dictate life and death, Han Sajjan, an ordinary guy from Seoul, finds himself ensnared in Mobius Tower, a brutal game where heroes climb 100 floors, crafting items and hunting tactics to survive. For Han, yesterday was mundane. Today he's a one-star hero fighting for survival in a paranormal dungeon where failure means oblivion. Han had always cursed his rotten luck, he recalled bitterly. Despite opening thousands of card packs in Mobius Tower, he never pulled a 7-star hero, the game's pinnacle of power. Everyone else has won, he muttered, scrolling through forums filled with boasts. The dungeon offered a slim chance to craft a 7-star hero through the elusive Book of Gates, so he decided to test his fate. Unlike other games, Mobius Tower played by ruthless rules. Every hero had one life, no matter their rank. Death was permanent. He sent a scouting party of high-value heroes, Dido 6 stars, Nicholas 5 stars, Kent 4 stars, and Akla 6 stars, into the dungeon. A warning flashed, his heroes trembled with fear, their stats slashed by 30%. What are they scared of? Han scoffed. Dido begged to retreat, but he pressed on, eager to study the boss's patterns. Then chaos erupted. Level 999, this has to be a bug, he shouted as the screen glitched. His party was annihilated before he could react. He stared blankly at the screen. Suddenly, the level 999 boss from the game looked at Khan and said in a mocking voice,
Found you.
Goosebumps, isn't it? The screen went black and Han's vision blurred. The game froze, then rebooted. Suddenly a new prompt appeared. Create an account, master, choose your name. Han tried to input his name, but the system glitched, auto-selecting whatever his username. Before he could protest, the screen pulsed and his vision blurred. When it cleared, Han found himself standing in a strange, vibrant world that mirrored Mobius. A voice echoed, Master, welcome to the world of Choose Me. Han's heart raced. This wasn't a game anymore, he was inside it, and the master whatever was another player from Earth. The tutorial began, defeat the goblins. Han was tasked with climbing the tower to save the world. His first mission was to defeat a group of goblins. The battle unfolded automatically. Now a 1-star hero named Han Sajjan, he couldn't reconcile the idea of killing even in a game, but the task was completed effortlessly. A notification chimed, Han 1-star leveled up, check your mail for rewards. The game's interface shifted, offering a free summon. With 500 crystals for a high-rank summon, Master reluctantly pressed the button. A 4-star knight named Sheila appeared. She materialized in a flash of light. Khan, watching the process with interest, began to get acquainted with Sheila, asking her name. Despite the confusion, the system forced them into a group. Together, they entered a dungeon where Sheila effortlessly dispatched goblins, earning another level up and rewards. Han, however, felt the gap between their power. Her 4 stars dwarfed his single star. Quest complete, Sheila leveled up, reward granted. The admiration Han felt was short-lived. The system forced them into the next phase of the tutorial. Then came the final tutorial, Hero Synthesis. Han's blood ran cold as the game opened the synthesis gate. Climb in, a fairy's voice barked, but he knew her from his past and called her by name. Izel asked in surprise who you were. Khan Islat explained that he was from Earth and was a player, and his real name is Khan Sajjan. Izel was confused upon recognizing the former player. Han protested, I am from Seoul, not Mars, get me out of here. But Ezel insisted that he enter the fusion chamber, where one hero would be sacrificed to strengthen another. With only 1 star to Sheila's 4, Han braced for death. No sane player would sacrifice her for me, he thought, heart pounding, yet in a blinding flash Sheila vanished, her 4-star essence absorbed to strengthen him. Why her? Han gasped, stunned by the game's twisted logic. Sheila's parting words echoed, it's fate, good luck Han. The synthesis is complete. Khan 1 star inherits Sheila's power. He survived, but at a price he did not agree to. It was the mistake of the master who unknowingly committed. The game didn't pause for grief. Goblins swarmed and Han fought on, cursing the idiot master, controlling his fate, unaware he was now both player and pawn. A level 999 monster's mocking laughter haunted him, its gaze somehow responsible for his entrapment. This isn't a coincidence, and this game is garbage. He growled, vowing to unravel the truth, but it didn't matter. Han was here now, in this strange world chosen by a system he didn't understand against monsters he couldn't predict. You messed with the wrong person, Han muttered. During the battle he was wounded and lost his arm. Zhenya was afraid that Khan might die. He promised that the wounds would heal when they returned to Tawny. In this game, players cannot control combat directly and battles are executed by AI. As he scraped through another floor, Han clung to a bitter realization. Mobius Tower wasn't just a game, it was a divine spectacle where players watched like gods. I was one of them, he admitted, recalling his obsession with crafting tactics and hidden mechanics. A top player's words rang in his mind, "Stick with it and you'll see the end." With Jenna, another one-star hero, by his side, Han steeled himself. This trash game was now his reality, and he'd climb its tower or die trying. This was just the beginning of Loki, who is one of the top 5 players in the game, pick me up. Chapter 3. Trapped in the merciless world of Mobius Tower, Han Sajin, now a one-star hero named Islat Han, faced a grim reality where survival hinged on strength, cunning, and sheer will. In this game, death came swiftly on the battlefield or through the sinister ritual of synthesis, and for a low-rank hero like him, the odds were bleak. Yet, surrender was not an option. Han had resigned himself to his fate, he admitted grimly. Whining was for losers, and in this world, giving up meant death. There are only 2 ways to die here, he thought, in battle or during synthesis. As a one-star hero level 5 class novice, his stats were pitiful: strength, intelligence, health, and agility all at 15 with no skills. One-star heroes are ballast, he muttered, nodding their weak stats and slow progression. At this rate, I'll be fodder for synthesis. Determined to survive, Han resolved to adapt. This is like the damn army, he reflected, recalling a childhood without anyone to rely on. Survival demanded a fortified body and spirit. If I can't control my emotions, I'm done for, he told himself, steeling his resolve. He began training, pushing his limits to defy the game's cruel rules. One day, as he trained, someone approached him. It was Jenna. Jenna, a one-star archer, approached him during his training and admitting she'd spent the night plotting their next move. "We're stuck here," she said, her hunter father's lessons in archery fueling her resolve. At level 2, she boasted a basic archery skill, outshining Han's empty skill set. She'd killed goblins without flinching in her first fight, her focus unyielding. She's a rough diamond, Han thought, agreeing to team up. A system notification chimed. Jenna's favor toward him granted a stat bonus when grouped. "These alerts are getting on my nerves," he grumbled. Seeking answers, Han confronted Ezel, a level 257 hero who dodged his questions. "Climb the tower," she snapped. "All answers are there." Han noticed her level hovering above her head, visible only to him, along with system messages addressed to the Master. When he pressed Ezel about the Master abandoning the game, she grew evasive. "If that happens, we're screwed," she hinted, revealing the Master's blunder in sacrificing Sheila, a rare 4-star hero, to empower Han. 1% chance to pull her and he wasted her on me, Han scoffed. The account was tied to a phone, making a reset impossible, and time flowed differently here. Days in the game could be mere hours on Earth. Ezel refused further answers, warning that interference was allowed only for disobedience or self-defense. "I'll learn the rules myself," Han vowed, knowing defiance could cost him everything. He explained the tower's stakes to Jenna. They had to conquer 100 floors under the Master's orders relayed through Ezel. "We'll fight a lot," he warned. "But it's just the 2 of us," Jenna pointed out, but the Master could summon more heroes so they wouldn't be alone. After a day of training, Han discovered the world's quirks. Food and essentials refreshed daily, and non-combat items appeared if desired, though weapons and game gear didn't. Training also revealed that even one-star heroes varied in talent. The Master would soon judge them by strength, spirit, and skills. High-rank heroes started with skills, but Han had earned 2: basic swordsmanship and shield mastery, level 1, his limit for now. Nearby, others discussed their predicament. A sudden alert jolted him. The Master was summoning heroes. 3 days passed already, Han muttered, stunned. The Master called 3 one-star heroes, Aaron, Tobai, and Elson. "Where are we?" they demanded, disoriented. Han urged them to prepare for battle, promising explanations later. Ezel opened a rift and the trio joined Han and Jenna's party. "Who's she?" Aaron barked, eyeing Ezel suspiciously. "Take us home," Tobai pleaded, claiming he was just a penniless farmer. The little fairy warned new heroes, "Stop complaining, go to the portal, and better listen to me like those 2. "I'm trapped here too," Jenna admitted, silencing their accusations of collusion. The second floor's mission was to eliminate enemies. As goblins and wolves attacked, fear gripped Aaron, Tobai, Elson, and even Jenna, slashing their stats by 30%. And took charge, targeting 2 goblins. "Jenna, snap out of it," he shouted. She shook off her fear, knocking an arrow. Just a moment's panic, she said, firing cleanly. The new recruits, however, were useless, their shoddy weapons barely effective. One hit's not enough, Han cursed, but his own blade sufficed. As the dust settled, he realized the master's whims would shape their survival and only strength would keep them alive in this unforgiving tower. Chapter 4. In the unforgiving crucible of Mobius Tower, Han Sojin fights not just monsters but the crushing weight of his one-star status. As the master's whims dictate life and death, Han and his allies face a brutal truth: only the strong survive and the weak are fodder for the synthesis chamber. The battle against the goblins, spiked monstrosities resembling porcupines, had ended in victory, Han noted with grim satisfaction. "How many shots did you fire?" he asked Jenna, who shrugged. "They're dead, relax." The system announced their success. Han and Jenna, both one-star heroes, leveled up, with Han named the most valuable hero. Their reward: 5,000 gold, iron ore, and leather. "Second floor cleared," Han said as the game propelled them to the third. "What's next?" Han wondered aloud, exhausted from carrying the fight. Han calculated that with time flowing 3 times faster in the game, the master, absent for now, might return in 3 days. "If we keep this pace, we're in trouble," he warned. Han reviewed his updated stats. He was still a 1-star but now level 6. His class was Novice, with strength raised to 17, intelligence at 14, health and agility both at 16. He had basic swordsmanship and shield handling skills both at level 1. Though his intelligence had dropped by 1 point, his strength had increased by 2. It wasn't much, but overall his growth rate was improving. He could feel it, he was getting stronger. He reflected that if they had pushed too hard, things would have fallen apart. Steady progress was better. Still, he wondered aloud why he was even fighting. What were these monsters? Where were they? The others were just regular people, 1-star heroes who had never seen war, let alone wanted to fight. Now it was obvious, they were being treated as expendable. He remembered what was said about high-ranking heroes. They weren't afraid of battle because they either knew they'd be summoned again or had a reason to fight. Someone like Shay must have known something. Han was sure of it. His companion urged him to explain things to the others, but Han dismissed the idea. It was a waste of time. If the others figured it out on their own, maybe they'd be useful allies. Otherwise, they were just cannon fodder, soon to die or be synthesized into resources. So for now, he said, it would be just the 2 of them fighting. One of the others tried to ask Han questions. He refused him, realizing that it was useless. Because of this, the newcomer grabbed Khan, but did not stand on ceremony, and punched him off. He heard enough. Watching what was happening, Jenna was overcome with a good mood. The next day, training resumed. Han swung a wooden sword while Jenna practiced archery, their efforts yielding results. Han's swordsmanship and shield mastery reached level 2. And after particularly brutal hit, "Don't worry, this world works differently. I'll recover," he told Jenna, shrugging off a minor injury. And he gained a new skill: pain tolerance. "Pain's no issue, it means I'm alive." Relentless practice fused his skills into a new one: shield and sword technique, level 3. As they trained, Aaron, Tobai, and Elson plotted an escape, unaware no exit existed. "They're wasting their time," Han muttered, undeterred. The master's return was abrupt. "Get to the plaza or face consequences," Ezel barked. "Send me home," Tobai wailed. "I'm sick of eating potatoes," Aaron threatened Ezel, who silenced them with a glare. "I'll crush you all if you don't move," she snapped, herding them to the 3rd floor's mission: eliminate all enemies. Han and Jenna, their skills honed, dispatched the goblins with ease. Jenna leveled up, earning the most valuable hero title and a reward of 7,000 gold, iron ore, and leather. "Boring," he remarked, while Jenna noted the others' uselessness. "Let us keep the experience," he said, "since idle heroes gain nothing." The master, relentless, sent them to repeat the 1st floor. "Same old monsters," Han observed as they cleared it effortlessly, earning 1,000 gold, and another most valuable hero is Jenna. The master pushed them to repeat it again, then the 3rd floor, each yielding 1,000 gold and nomming Han the standout. "He's not giving us a break," Han groaned, exhausted. Han, unfazed, dismissed the others' complaints. "They're not worth protecting," he told her, ignoring their pleas. Then the system announced synthesis. "Drag the heroes you wish to sacrifice," it instructed. Han's heart sank as he realized Aaron, Tobai, and Elson's refusal to fight sealed their fate. "They had their chance," he said coldly, as the master prepared to cast them into the chamber, their lives forfeit in the tower's cruel cycle. Chapter 5. The heroes had a chance, perhaps even more than one. In Mobius Tower, where every choice is a gamble with death, Han Sojin navigates a world where the Master's gaze tracks every move. As heroes are forged or broken in the synthesis chamber, Han grapples with a chilling reality. Survival demands not just strength but the cunning to stay indispensable. The Master, though distant, saw everything Han realized. Achievements, battles, and cowardice were all laid bare. When the system marked Han and Jenna as favorites, a chill ran through him. Jenna and Elson enter the synthesis chamber, it commanded. Jenna froze, but Han reassured her, "You're fine, nothing will happen to you." Elson, however, protested, "I was dragged here against my will." Han snapped, "No one cares. You hid behind others refusing to fight, get in." Despite Elson's pleas, the Master initiated synthesis. Jenna emerged stronger, her level rising with a new skill, Eagle Eye. "What happened?" she gasped, staring at the spot where Elson had vanished. "They eliminate the useless," Han said coldly, eyeing Jenna. "Who's next?" The system called Han and Tobai. Tobai, naive, cheered, "I'm going home." Han shook his head as they entered the chamber. In a flash, Tobai dissolved, his essence fueling Han's growth, and he gained a new skill, composure. On the way, Khan muttered to Aaron, "You're lucky." He wasn't needed anymore, so he just disappeared. "If the Master deems us useless, we vanish." Han nodded, recalling her complaints about the others' dead weight. "What if I become useless?" she whispered. He met her gaze. "Monsters and summoned heroes get stronger each floor. We fight or die, battle or synthesis." Jenna's expression hardened, citing her father's advice, "Stick with the right people." Han smirked, "Then do as I say and you'll survive." The next day, Jenna approached Han and respectfully said that she would count on him, knowing that she would be safer with him. After Aaron approached, shamefaced. "I was a coward leaving the fighting to you," he admitted, begging to join them. "I want to change." Han, skeptical, asked, "Why should I trust you?" Aaron offered to kneel, confessing he'd never fought monsters. "You fight well," he said, awed. Han handed him a spear, explaining, "It's easy for beginners. We'll cover close, mid, and long-range combat, sword, spear, bow." Aaron, nervous, admitted he never held a weapon. "I learned on the fly," Han said. "So will you." Sparring began, but Aaron faltered, closing his eyes mid-fight. "A monster would have killed you," Han snapped, frustrated. "I don't need dead weight." When Aaron mentioned his waiting sister, Han's tone softened. "Imagine her if you don't return. Synthesis is less painful than being torn apart. Don't start what you can't finish." Aaron's eyes sparked with resolve, earning Han's grudging approval. A system alert announced an arsenal's construction, costing 500 crystals. "A forge," Han noted, excited. He called Ezel, demanding answers. "Who are you to order me?" she retorted, but Han didn't flinch and replied, "Just stop with the attitude. Your replies are getting old." Han did not stop asking, "Your advice messages mimic game forums. You're online, aren't you?" Ezel admitted to browsing in her free time, revealing she knew strategies from a popular post by Loki, the game's legendary player. "Training Center, 10 weapons then Ford," he recited. She grinned, "You know Loki, he's the god of this game, turning impossible into possible." Ezel raised an eyebrow, but Han laughed. "I was a player too, and guess what, I am Loki." Her shock was fleeting, but Han's confidence surged. He climbed the tower, wielding his past mastery to defy its cruel rules. Chapter 6. In Mobius Tower, Han Sojin straddles a perilous line, half hero, half master, in a game that masks a horrifying truth. Its heroes are not AI but real people, plucked from countless worlds. As he uncovers the tower's secrets, Han vows to climb its heights, forging his destiny with a blade crafted by his own hands. Han's claim to be Loki, the legendary player, Ezel was stunned. "That's absurd," she scoffed, but when he recited his account number 46, 6391, known only to owners and server managers, her disbelief wavered. "Seriously, Loki," she gasped, then squealed, "Give me an autograph, I'll be the top fan in Loki's club." Han blinked, confused. "Fan club, never heard of it." Ezel, mortified, stammered, "I blabbed all that to the Loki." Han shrugged, "I'm just a one-star hero now, who cares?" Ezel pressed, "What about Nilfheim, your settlement?" Han described his 13-floor fortress, housing 20,000 with buildings upgraded to levels 18 and 22, but admitted he was stuck here. "What happens to them?" she asked. Han suggested disbanding it, but she had no power. Khan said he knew her. "You're just a mid-tier moderator handling petty tasks." Han revealed the game's grim reality. The Master and Earth humans saw heroes as expendable, unaware they were real people summoned from diverse worlds, not AI. "Can I return home by reaching the top?" Han asked. Ezel admitted, "I don't know." When he demanded who brought him here, she stayed silent. "I'll find out as I climb," he vowed, probing her powers. She explained she could offer the Master advice, open or close buildings, and assist in decisions. Other Masters' settlements are similar. A million such worlds. The Mobius summoning system, touted as infinite hero combinations, was a lie. Its quantum AI facade hid real people from countless realities. Han's past actions as a player, he realized, had doomed many and advised her, "Listen to me if you want to reach the top." Ezel gave consent. Jenna's progress impressed Han. She's a genius, he noted, watching her master a dagger with uncanny speed despite her inexperience. Eren, however, lagged, his spearwork sloppy. He'll die in battle at this rate, Han muttered. Jenna, overhearing, teased, not training your assistant, Eren. A funny situation happened. The Loki's fan Izel bristled. Redhead, how dare you speak to him like that? I'm Loki's #1 aide. Ezel smirked. Rural redhead, you don't know who he is, Master Loki. Han sighed, maybe don't spread that around. Jenna, unfazed, dismissed Ezel. And turned to Ezel, demanding, you can open buildings without the master's permission, right? Unlock the warehouse. She complied, and Han found iron, leather, and planks. Now the forge, he ordered. I won't swing a mediocre sword forever, he declared, realizing his dual role as hero and master might grant access to master-only zones. Ezel asked, crafting a Leviathan or Brunek. Han scoffed, here, the system warned, no master blacksmith, no blueprint, and a dire success rate. Start crafting? It prompted. Han chose extreme hell difficulty, ignoring Ezel's protest about triple penalties. It's a master's mini-game, he explained, often skipped, but the rewards are huge. With 3 minutes to craft, Han tackled the unfamiliar interface. I can't even grasp the pattern, he muttered, but his instincts kicked in. Begin, he commanded, executing the legendary thousand hands technique. The system chimed, absolute success. Han crafted a forged longsword, durable, light, and razor-sharp, masterfully blending mediocre materials. Holding the blade, he felt a surge of defiance. As Loki, he'd reshaped this cruel game, carving a path to the tower's summit. Chapter 8. The Master closely observed the newly arrived heroes, assessing their potential. He instructed the group to assign heroes to the second group's empty slots, naming Geit, Hansen, John, and Teddy all one-star heroes. He urged them to give their all, warning that low-level heroes who failed to prove their worth would be deemed useless. The Master would decide who was valuable. Filled with determination, the one-star heroes ventured into the first floor of the dungeon. The master pressed them to move quickly, cautioning that failure to adapt would likely lead to death on the very first floor. John, a novice, fought desperately but lacked the strength to survive. It was announced that John, the one-star hero, had returned to the embrace of the Lord, his fighting spirit to be remembered forever. Soon after, Teddy met the same fate with a declaration that his bravery would also be eternally honored. Only Dika and Chloe survived from the group. Panting heavily, Dika admitted he couldn't fight monsters and doubted his ability to cope. Aaron, standing nearby, boldly declared his intention to join the fight. A group member, Jenna, expressed surprise, wondering if he had always been so daring, while Khan suggested allowing Aaron, a one-star hero, to join, nodding that his skills were close to those of a novice but could still be useful. When the master asked if they should accept Aaron, the group agreed and Aaron joined, his eyes burning with resolve. Khan explained that heroes who eagerly sought battle often saw their abilities enhanced, advising the group to support them without hindering their growth. After clearing the first floor, the group returned to the settlement. Jenna, exhausted and surveying the camp, complained that she longed to return home and eat proper food, tired of the raw potatoes they had been given. Also, she remarked that the sky was so bright it felt as if someone, perhaps God, was watching them. Khan skeptically countered that their words likely didn't matter to such a being, as their conversations were filtered into brief messages before reaching Master Whatever's observer. The floor had been cleared without further losses, and Aaron, wiping sweat from his brow, boasted that he had slain a single goblin. Khan acknowledged their understanding and signaled it was time to return. Back at the settlement, the group received good news. A dining hall had been established, promising more varied meals. Guide exclaimed with enthusiasm that their usefulness to the master would lead to better conditions. Jenna eagerly expressed her desire for a lamb steak, while Aaron said he'd settle for turkey. Their excitement faded when Dolph, a one-star cook of the first level, revealed that the kitchen had plenty of spices but only potatoes as ingredients. He lacked any cooking skills. Khan and the master, scanning the group, designated Chloe as the new cook. She was not ready for this position, insisting she could try something different but surprisingly adapted quickly. She later remarked that she hadn't realized how many dishes could be made from potatoes. Everyone started tasting her food, sternly noted her quick adaptability, but Khan warned her and everyone against lying. If it can be easily exposed, then there will be no second chance. Meanwhile, new faces appeared in the settlement. Enoch and Chloe, beyond their combat roles, proved themselves as a carpenter and a cook. Khan cautioned that they shouldn't grow complacent, as anyone with superior skills could replace them, sending them back to battle, and muttered to Dolph that a single lie could make someone a candidate for synthesis, nodding that settlement jobs were safer but limited in number. From the following day, the tranquil life came to an abrupt end. Only 3 individuals, Gate, Hansen, and Dika, all young men around 20 years old, joined the group. The others, it seemed, were too frightened and sought places to hide. Khan had grown weary of sparring with Aaron and was eager to try something new. However, Aaron's influence on the newcomers was noticeable. They began calling him Henim Big Brother, a name that reflected their respect. The gap in their abilities was significant, 7 or 8 points in characteristics, akin to the difference between a child and an adult on Earth. Such a rapid increase in strength would have been unimaginable back home. Yena had already mastered the basics of archery, reaching the 5th level while her dagger skills were at the 2nd level. Aaron's spear proficiency also stood at the 2nd level, but despite training harder than anyone else, he made no further progress and gained no new skills. The trio of newcomers, meanwhile, had achieved the 1st level of sword mastery, their development strikingly similar, perhaps due to their shared age. They remarked to Khan that his strength was remarkable, though he brushed it off, nodding that his level was naturally higher. "You'll understand soon enough," he told them, adding that they were still better than those cowering in their homes. Soon after, the master summoned 10 more heroes. This time, Aaron and the others managed the task without Khan's help, and only one person perished during the selection. The group was growing, and it seemed this trend would continue. Yet Khan wondered why the master hadn't led them to the 5th floor, especially since so much time had passed since the last sweep. The answer was simple: the master was no fool. The 5th floor promised a sharp spike in difficulty, and he hadn't yet decided who to add to the team. Every 5 floors, the challenges escalated dramatically, much like a boss level in a game. Even Khan, with all his strength, couldn't guarantee survival in such places. Despite the rigorous selection process and relentless training, many would likely perish. The growing complexity was a grim reality best kept from Jenny for now. Chapter 10. The fifth floor survival mission pushed the team to their limits, with the goblin horde closing in like an unstoppable tide. Khan's voice cut through the chaos, barking orders to maintain their fragile defense. He instructed Gate to switch with Hansen, noticing Gate's faltering stamina. It's not just about level, Khan muttered to himself, observing that Gate's technique was lacking, his overexertion draining him too quickly. He advised the team to focus on efficiency, one strike, one kill. Hit, block, hit again, he directed. Though these goblins were as weak as those on the first floor, their sheer numbers overwhelmed the group. Goblins don't fear anything, Khan noted grimly, they just charge heedless of danger. As the battle raged, Khan called for another rotation. Switch, he shouted, pointing out a weak point in their line. He urged Yena to assist Gate, reminding her to retrieve her arrows whenever possible. I've been waiting for this, Yena replied, her voice steady as she targeted goblins breaching their defenses. Hansen, growing frustrated, you said 10 minutes, exclaimed to Khan. Only 5 minutes had passed despite the grueling effort. But before Khan could respond, Gate took a wound. Khan ordered Hansen to replace him immediately, dismissing concerns about Gate's condition. He'll recover when he's back, Khan said sharply, urging Hansen to hold the line. Gate, shaken and clutching his injured arm, saw his status drop, 1 star, gripped by fear with all characteristics reduced by 30%. Khan's patience snapped. Get it together or we're all dead, he roared, ordering Yena to help stop Gate's bleeding. Fight, Gate, got it, he demanded, pushing him back into the fray. Hansen, meanwhile, complained that his sword had dulled but insisted he could still fight. Khan acknowledged this was expected. A basic sword wouldn't last long, but reminded them that even a bladeless weapon or a shield could kill goblins if needed. With the clock ticking, Khan directed Yena to relieve Aaron, who was nearing exhaustion. Rest while you can, she told Aaron, who reluctantly stepped back. 3 minutes remained, but the battle felt endless. Why does half an hour drag like this? Khan muttered. Aaron switching out with Yena after a brief 10-second breather. Khan called for Hansen to rotate back in and for Yena to support him with arrows. No need to conserve them now, Khan said urgently. If they break through, we're done. The situation grew dire. Hansen hesitated and Khan's voice sharpened as he pushed him forward. Then, a chilling update flashed. Gate 1 star was on the brink of death, his life in grave danger. The team's resolve wavered, but Khan's commands held them together, their survival hanging by a thread as the goblin horde pressed closer.
Thank you for watching. The next chapters will be uploaded this week. I hope you liked the manhwa storytelling, dear viewers. Do not judge strictly if there were mistakes, as this was my first work. I will improve and please you further. Please like and write comments, subscribe to my first and new channel. With respect, Manhwa stream, peace and goodness to all.